Wokingham has a problem with gypsies. This is what a lot of people would say. However, is this truly the case? I intend to find out. Me and two colleagues are going to Wokingham to see if the gypsy problem is as bad as people say it is. We are now on our way to the Pinewood site in Wokingham. We just want to see around to see what the housing's like and what the general feel for it's really like, as we've never been to a park before. So this here is Pinewood Park, which is quite a famous traveller camp, and Wokingham are planning to build a lot more in 2020. As you can see from this site, you can see just on the outside you can see a lot of the waste that the gypsies distribute, and you see a lot of the probably quite hostile areas you can see, but inside you can also see that it does look quite clean and well kept. There's rubbish all around the roads, and you can see where they've probably laid waste to things that they've been keeping in their house rather than taking it to a dump. So where we are right now is basically behind the gypsy camp, and if you can see around this area, you see all the rubbish that the travellers put. So yeah, this is not very pleasant, but we're going to carry on. The Wokingham Council has plans to add 2 more pitch sites to Wokingham Borough area. This would increase the number of travellers in the community by a lot. It could also increase hostility in the area. We wanted to see what the general public thought of the 2 sites being added to Wokingham. Luckily, we've been able to get in touch with a resident of Wokingham, Melanie Young.
I think there is an issue within Wokingham as much as there is in other places. I just think there's an issue with the travelling gypsy community as a whole.
And then the second one is, why do you think there is an issue?
Because I think the councils and the police and the laws are way too lenient on them. I think they get away with much more than anybody else does. Unpaying taxes, the theft, stealing things, jobs that they do for people that they don't do properly, and all sorts of things that I think the police don't control, and they're not hard enough on them.
Have you first-hand been affected by gypsies whilst living in Wokingham?
Yes, absolutely. A couple of occasions. They came and bulk cropped my stables and stole a quad bike from me. I managed to find out where it was. I saw them with it over in Binfield, called the police, and the police weren't really interested in turning up and dealing with the situation because they are gypsies and they don't like going onto their sites to take things back that have been stolen.
Okay.
Also, my dog was attacked recently, very badly, nearly died. We approached the people, the gypsies next to us, whose dog attacked my dog, and they didn't want take any responsibility. They wouldn't offer any support or money towards the vet bills. Yeah.
Have you heard about the plans to add more pitches to allow more gypsies to move into Wokingham?
No, I haven't, and I'd be interested to know if that is the case.
By 2029, there's got to be, I think, 90 more pitches added to the UK as a whole, and then adding 2 more into the Wokingham Borough area.
I didn't know this. I'd be interested to know where they're going to put them.
I think it's Arborfield.
Over in Arborfield.
There's another one somewhere.
I certainly feel like the gypsy community is growing really quickly, and they do need more areas for them to be. But what annoys me is that they squat on land, and then they get given the rights to that land, and I feel that that's unfair.
So do you think it's okay for gypsies to live there if they're legally
if they've bought it, if they've bought that land and they have dwelling rights on that land, absolutely, then yes, they can live there. But half the time they buy greenbelt land or they buy paddock land, and they put their caravans on there, and then eventually they'll get planning permission. I don't think that's fair because we're not allowed to do it.
As you can see, this is one person who has experienced hostility from the gypsies. People in the area clearly have an issue with the travelling community, but it made me wonder, what do the gypsies think of this? We were lucky enough to speak to Dan Hill. We wanted to ask them what they thought of settled people and what settled people thought of them. So I'm here with Dan Hill, and he's been kind enough to let me be by his camper van. And basically, the first question I want to ask you is, do you think there's an issue in Woking with the Irish travelling community, or just travellers in general?
I mean, it depends who you ask. I don't think with a lot of the traveller community there is a big issue, but a small minority do bring a lot of violence with them. But that's not how a lot of us choose to live.
Would you say, like, particularly like in your site, you've seen like this kind of things happen, or? Like...
I've seen it before, and in a site like this, you'll always see some violence, but a lot of it is very, very community oriented. So it's very, very close. Everyone's very close here.
Yeah, cool. So, like, have you heard about any of the plans about the new like kind of pitches in Wokingham? Because apparently, like 2020, there's going to be all new pitches coming through.
I've heard some stuff like that, but I don't know. I think there's already quite a bad preconceived notion that people have about travellers, and I think if more come, there's going to be more hostility towards us.
Yeah. Gypsies have a much more laid-back approach to the whole situation from what I've seen. I think that in order for a compromise to be reached, both the travellers and settled people need to come together and coexist peacefully.